Oh, he can't make the call today. He just hit me up. That's all good.
Okay.
I guess
Yeah.
his sister is flying in today, so he just realized that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah.
it's
I'm
all
kind of
good.
happy because now I get to do two interviews because with him, it would be another separate one. Like if he was here, then I would do this one and he was here. There would have been less reason for me to do another one, with him. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I had my stream up to make sure we were going live, and I was hearing an echo, and I was like, "Why is it echoing?" And I just
Yeah.
realized that. But yeah, so what's up, everybody? We're here with Amir from Unnamed, and we were gonna have Block on, but he just realized that his sister's flying in, so it's just gonna be me and Amir, and we're gonna be going over his project Unnamed. So
Yeah.
how's it going, man?
Yeah. Going amazing. You can call it UNMD for sure. You don't have to call it unnamed. And yeah, it's going great. Fantastic. Amazing. I mean, I'm a bit sick. You're a bit sick. Blood couldn't make it, but let's make it. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all good.
normally we have Clean here, but he got a new job, and ever since he got his new job, the schedule's kind of been all over the place, so he wasn't
Yeah.
able to make it today. So we'll get him on here probably next week with Farmer Nash. But so what have you guys been doing? What is the like main like kind of shtick? Like introduce everybody to your project.
So yeah, the project is called UNMD. We are CNFTs or Cardano's first social marketplace, and with the project, we are planning to create a marketplace that the social aspect of it is the main thing. People can comment under new mints and also buy and sell. They have their own portfolio, which they can check the value of their portfolio. But in the main thing, we are trying to solve three main problems that are we saw in the NFT space. One is evaluating and keeping track of your portfolio is difficult. The other one is paid content, promotional content doesn't have a place in Cardano ecosystem or in NFT ecosystem in general. And also NFT projects are isolated from one another. So we are trying to create this social marketplace to bring all these solutions together, also projects together. Yeah. So that's about the project itself.
Okay, so how do you plan on bringing these projects together? Because I know a lot of projects kind of do like collabs, and also I don't know if you've heard of like Space Otter Society, but they kind of bring in other projects and do some missions around those. So how does
Yeah.
your project differ with bringing those projects together?
So, because the main aspect of the marketplace is being social, so there's going to be a feed. On the feed, we're going to start. At first, I have to explain how we're onboarding users. When I'm explaining that, then you can realize how other projects will get involved. So, we just did our alpha version of the platform. We released it on the 15th of December. 16th, I think it was 16th or the 15th, but I know we did it on time, so I'm happy about that. Usually projects say we're going to do it on this date, but there are delays. For us, there was no delay because we are the programmers, so we got it there on time. And so what it is that right now, only the OGs, the NFT that you see on the screen, only the OGs, people who hold this NFT have access to the platform. And there's only 300 of these, which they have been minted. It's finished. You can only purchase them on the secondary marketplace. So we're going to be doing the tests with the OGs, and then the main collection is the one that has access to the marketplace. And after that, there will be other collections that we whitelist that they can access the marketplace. And they can follow each other, comment on each other's NFTs, and also on the feed, they will see opportunities for the NFTs that have been hidden. Because we've realized with the homepage of most marketplaces, including on ETH, what you see is that is the collection that has the most volume. But how about the ones that are good projects, but they're just hidden gems? So we want to push those more to the feed. And on the feed is a place that everyone can interact. And feed is just one of the features. There's live chats going on. And with those, we're hoping to bring people from different collections together. They don't just have to be on their isolated discourse communicating with each other. They can communicate in a much more interesting way with each other. So let's say if I'm following a wallet or I'm following my friend, I can see when he mints something, it will show up on my feed. Yeah.
Okay, so have you heard of stock twits?
Yes, they follow us on Twitter actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of imagining it something like that, where you could type in like Tesla, right? And then you can see all the tweets about Tesla, whether people are
Yes.
bullish or bearish on the
Yes.
day. So it'd kind of be something like that, but for NFTs.
For NFTs and also directly powered by the blockchain. So when you mint an NFT, as quickly as that, it shows on your feed. You don't have to copy the image and post it on Twitter or some other platform. It would be the original NFT on the feed. Yeah.
Okay, so like you mint something and then it'll bring you kind of to that page, or do you have to click on it on your page? How will that kind of interact?
So the exact interactions obviously would be better when we interacting with it actually. But if I want to explain it, is that let's say let's think about Instagram, right? You make a new post, and your followers will see the post on their feed, right? With this one is that let's say you mint a collection, you mint a new collection that's coming out, and then people who follow you on the feed, they'll literally see that thing that you just minted, just like
Okay.
making a post on Instagram. Yeah.
So it'll kind of like keep track of your wallet, and when a new NFT comes into your wallet, then it'll kind of like pop it up and show like, hey, new NFT entered this
Yeah,
guy's wallet.
but other people can follow your wallet. It's not just you tracking your wallet. Other people, there's the following and followers thing going on. So yeah.
Okay, and then how is it, because you said something about the creators, the content, that when people view your profile, they'll get paid somehow. So will there
Yeah.
be kind of like paid advertisements for maybe NFTs to follow certain profiles or certain wallets?
So there are two ways of we're trying to bring revenue to users. One is that on top of their profile, we have a empty section, which we have made it empty on purpose right now, that we are planning to display ads in the future on there. Actually, if we scroll down more, a bit more, maybe a bit more. Let's see. I don't know if it's included. Yeah, it's not included in this version of the website because the website is coded and different users see different things. So on top of it, there's a space for a banner. And on that banner, people can put ads on your profile. And you get 55% share of the clicks that you get on your profile. So that's one way where promotional content comes into play. And the other way is that we're thinking about a service like Patreon, where you have a section on your profile which is like locked, and only the people who pay can access that section. It could be subscription based, or it could be just one-time payment to see that one type of, like, let's say, analysis or anything that you're putting on lock on your profile. Yeah.
Okay, and I would imagine this is going to be mainly for people with a lot of money or a lot of influence in the space, because anybody else, I don't think they would really care to follow like Joe Schmo's wallet, right?
Here's the thing. We want to push the underdog, but here's another fact about this. OGs have a special tag on there, and whenever they make a post, it highlights their post, like their whole post shows up more than anyone else, or the mint that they do. It just that it's designed in a way that drives more traffic to the OGs, and also people who hold our collection. So those are the people who get the most amount of traffic, because their whole posts and their NFTs are highlighted in a different design, so it just stands out. And based on the rarity of the NFT they hold from the main collection, there's different highlights. Like if it's highlighted by red, like outlined by red, that means they're a boss. If it's outlined by blue, that means they're a consigliere. And also if it's green, that means they're an underboss. If it's purple, that means they're a capo. And if it's gray, that means they're a soldier. So in a way, based on the rarity of the NFT they hold, it drives traffic there. But also, we are trying to create an algorithm for the feed that pushes the underdog. We don't want just people who are already famous get even more famous or make even more money. So I think it will be an opportunity for even newcomers to make it on the platform. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to think about it from the perspective of somebody who's trying to maybe flip or make some money. They're gonna probably want to watch the big money, right? Like that's kind of how stocks work. You want to watch the people who are moving the stocks who have that
Yeah.
kind of liquidity. So I understand wanting to push the underdog, but as
Yeah.
far as like the trading aspect from it, I don't see, I'm having a hard time seeing how the underdog is going to be able to help
I
other
tell you
people.
how. I tell you how that's possible too. I give you another scenario. Uh, the TED Nation, right? When they were minting, they obviously sold out. Okay, but I remember at the time they went below mint, or many other good projects. They went below mint. But if you have done your analysis on good projects who go below mint, there is an opportunity there to purchase the NFT. Like it would be an opportunity to purchase it. So in that scenario, it will, if we push a project like that we know it has good potential, but right now is undervalued, especially in the bear market. Many projects are good, but they're undervalued in the bear market. If we push that one in on the feed, the underdog is the one who's getting the attention.
The underdog project, but the
Yeah,
investor, no? Like the investors, you still want the higher, class investors to be the ones buying into those projects, right?
yeah, and also the underdog investor is also winning because they're getting the project cheaper because it's showing up on their feet. They're like, oh, this is an opportunity. So it's an opportunity for everyone, not just the underdog collection is making the money, obviously, because they're coming back, they're recovering to the mint because their project is getting attention and pushed. But also the underdog investor has the opportunity to make that nice trade, and later on people are like, oh, let me follow this guy because he's finding the underdog or the undervalued projects. So I feel like there's opportunity for everybody. Yeah.
Is there gonna be some sort of system set in place, that could maybe track when people buy certain things and how much they're up, and then maybe give them some sort of color code or some sort of name that you could see, like, this person has been trading well, this person has been successful, and then you could try to follow those people?
100%. We could have a leaderboard for that. That's the leaderboard feature, like other than the feed leaderboard feature. And this is what we like to say to, especially to the community that is involved in this. Like right now, the OGs are testing. Next, the people from the main collection will be testing. This is what we like to say. We're not creating the platform for the community. We're making it with the community. So when there are good ideas like this, we're developers. We love to hear these ideas and just execute on them, you know?
Right, because that's one way that I could see that it doesn't really matter about how much money you have. If you're
Mhm.
killing it and I see that you only have 100 ADA and you can only afford 2 NFTs at 50, but in the past, you've 2x'd or 3x'd on your small investment, like,
Exactly, the
that's still
percentage.
a good person to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah, we can give the option that people can view the leaderboard not only in the sense of how many ADO someone's on, but how much percentage gain they have. Like as you said, 3x, that would be 300%. So that would push them to the top.
Yeah, and then having some sort of incentive for those winners too, because then it pushes people to want to not only trade and be the best, but be the best on your platform.
Exactly. So with that, if more people are following them, that means more people are watching the ads that are displayed on their profile, you know? So yeah, it goes hand in hand. Yeah.
Also, I wanted to touch on the name Unnamed. Where did you guys come up with that, and why are you going with that?
Yeah. We like to call it UNMD, not the unnamed. That UNMD, it's just quick to say. But when we were writing the white paper is not out yet, but we have done most of it. It's just the design, how we want to display it. We might just go with Gitbook, but we wanted to put it our mission and our goal to not collect personal data where possible. So that's where we're going with the intensive privacy it means privacy. That's what it means. Like you don't have to give out your entire personal detail to be using the platform, because that's what the old social media is focused on. For us, we don't want to focus on that, so that's why we called it unnamed, because the people on there, they don't have to give out their real names and stuff. However, we also care about compliance. There's sometimes that we want to comply by the regulations. So if you're receiving money, we have to do like a sort of like a KYC, but the data is not going to sit with us. It's going to sit with the KYC partner, just like how Block is doing it with Stripe. So it's going to be on a encrypted database that we don't have access. So it's just that we have to stay compliant in order to attract the bigger industry and the mainstream to us. Yeah.
And I know that you mentioned this earlier, but the main collection, or the OG collection up here, is this going to give you access to your marketplace, or is this going to be kind of like the whitelist mint to that?
So right now, if you hold that, you can connect when you go to unmd.io, it says connect wallet, and you can access the alpha version of the platform. So at first, this is the timeline that we're saying, like, it's going to be the OGs, the first users. Let's test the new features with them at first. And then it's going to be the main collection. And then it's going to be whitelisting other collections. And finally, we get to a space where we can make the limited version available for free to other users who want to use it for free. Oh yeah, so you have access to it. That's good. Yeah.
Oh, so you have multiple languages in here too. I like that.
Yeah. So that's the first time that you log in. We want to do that. Oh, it's actually your first time. That's really cool. You're doing
so
it.
I'll make a little username bio.
Yeah.
YouTuber.
YouTuber. Let's continue. Hopefully nothing breaks. Yeah. So there it is. And I don't know if you noticed, the speed was quite fast. Rob is one of the developers. He's very proud of the speed. He's been working on it so much. And that's your profile. You can edit, but if you want to change your PFP, you can just click the icon on top of each NFT, and it will switch it up with that. So, okay. And you can see the background also changes based on that. So in this way, we want to create that personalized feeling that each profile feels and looks different, like based on your PFP or your favorite profile. I'll pick. And also you can search for the NFTs that you have in your wallet.
Okay. All right. I like this. Does it show total value and all that?
Yeah. So the total so based on trade floor price, that's the most expensive trade that you hold on each NFT. And if you hover over like the bars on trade, okay, that's the floor price. Yeah. So it highlights which one of those. So you can see the most valuable NFT that you have based on floor. If you highlight over it, it's that one right there. And also on the trade floor price, which is the pie chart next slide, over there you can see that the chilled Kong is the expensive one, but the most expensive trade is the fashion glasses. So that's the most expensive trade you own for that collection. I mean, there might be, as you can see on the top, we've seen like sometimes the data might be inaccurate, but this is only the alpha version, and we're testing it back and forth with the OGs. Yeah. And following coming soon. Yeah.
No, dude, I love this UI. Like the way that this is just so visually appealing to me. Like some of them look like, I don't know, like a cylinder, and then these look like ovals because of the size. I just think this is really cool to look at. This is awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't explain what the team's background, but we can get into that too. There's a reason why things look good or they are fast, because of the team that's behind this. But yeah, average sales floor price, I think that's based on the past 24 hours. So it checks how much it was sold things for that collection in the past 24 hours and gives you more of a realistic price. Or so that's the average is based on the past 24 hours, but we also want to add buttons for the past 7 days and 2 weeks. So how much it was traded for. This one could be a bit manipulated because if someone like tries to make a sale, like a very cheap one for like, let's say, because I remember a few days ago on the Ape Society, right? Someone somehow, I don't know what happened, managed to buy one of them for 300 ADA. I don't know what happened there.
Hmm.
And if that data comes into this, obviously would affect the average sales price for the past like few days or something. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, the community already had really good suggestions. They were like, they want to click on one of these bars and they want to get more details on that. So we're going to be working on those features that the community is asking for. And these ones are the floor price and the trade floor price. The reason it's a straight line right now is because it's your first day using the platform. Tomorrow, it's going to record tomorrow's date and it's going to show if it's going up or down over the longer period of time. Yeah.
No, I like that. That's awesome. And I can check the 14-day too and the 30-day.
Yeah. Yeah. Both
So
for trade floor and the floor price. Yeah.
so basically it's like if you wanted to sell it, as fast as possible, this is the chart that you would be looking at. But if you
Yes,
want to
exactly. Yeah.
but if you want to like if you're patient or whatever and you have some time, like you could wait roughly a week and then 2 weeks and you can kind of
Yeah.
get like a rough estimate of how long it should take to sell that NFT at that price.
Yeah, because let's say I have like a king of Ape Society and the floor is like 20K or something, but it doesn't mean right now I can sell it for 20K. Like you should look at the market, like how much they're trading it for right now. The last king that has been sold might be from 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah. So that's the intent. Like that's how we're trying to help out. And then when you go back onto the main tab, the gallery tab, there'll be more tabs in the future, but the NFT gallery one,
Oh,
for each individual one, we are trying to show the same numbers under it. So the trade floor, obviously, sometimes numbers might not be correct, and that's when the OGs are coming in and helping us. We want to collect it with them. And purchase price coming soon. That's the one that I would like on there because you might not have minted this one. You might have just purchased it. So it would be good to have the purchase price there so you know how much profit you made based on the purchase, based on the price you paid for it. Yeah.
yeah, I like that too, and I think that would come in handy with the other thing that we talked about with keeping track of who's up and how much they're up by,
Exactly. Yeah.
regardless
Yeah.
of how much ADA.
And maybe a little simple next to these like green and just like the stock stuff, like 7% off, 5% down, green and red next to it, next to the number. It would be really nice to have those two. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I know you wanted to mention the team too, so let's go back and we'll go down to
Yeah.
the team section, and you can tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about yourself, Rob, Chris, and
Vincent,
Vincento.
Vincento. Yeah. Vincento he's Italian. That's why the name is like that. But so if you want to dive into the team, so myself, I'll start with myself. I am an information security analyst as my day job, and I have experience working as a front-end developer, and I have a UX academic paper published in the university, and also I've been a organizer of like many events around Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and all of that. I work for like a big publicly traded e-commerce company. Don't want to say the name because we deal with sensitive data because I'm an information security analyst. But the events that I'm talking about, those Bitcoin and stuff, is with them. I try to throw these events because it's a big company, and I try to gather attention and get them to see the NFT space. It's funny because I had a conversation with one of the executives there, and he didn't even know Cardano had NFTs or Cardano had smart contracts. He thought Cardano is like a second layer of Ethereum or something. I had to explain to him, no, there's a whole community here. There's a lot going on. So I like to bring the mainstream or the bigger companies their attention to Cardano. And I'm one of the younger ones in the group, and Rob is the most experienced one in the group. He has 25-year experience programming. He's been the manager of different in different companies, and he has an MBA, so that helps us with the business administration side of things. So we grow in in a timely manner or in a sustainable way when we're trying to grow the team and other things. And he has also his MBA was also on a cryptocurrency regulation. And at first, before like talking to him about regulation, I was the guy who was like, yeah, no KYCs, no, none of this. We don't want anyone to know what we're doing and all of that. But over time, him explaining to me, I realized the importance of it. And I think even the Cardano community or NFT, CNFT community seeing the importance of it, because they kept asking us to get docs, to get docs. And that by itself is a form of regulation. You know, it's we can see the beginning of things getting formed, like the KYC processes. In a year or two time, we community might not even accept a project that is not doxed. You know, it's going to be an absolute requirement. So KYC is there to make sure things are safe and the money is not going to the wrong hands. So I learned a lot from Rob, and it's not the first time we're working together. In the startup that we were on, we were both employees, and he was my manager working on stuff. And also in university, he was my mentor. He helped me a lot winning hackathons in the city, like big ones. So we worked really well together.
That's
And
awesome, man. I was just
yeah,
gonna chime in and say, like, I really didn't like regulation either. The first thought of it, I was just like, man, the government needs to stay away. But I
yeah,
think the thing is, as soon as it starts to become regulated, that's when those bigger investors that are like, oh, crypto's a scam or crypto's scary, you know, those
yeah,
people, once it's fully, maybe not fully regulated, but regulated on some degree, those
yes,
investors will be able to calm down a little bit and be like, oh, my government's got me. Thank you, government. And then
yeah.
they'll throw their money in. Even though we don't want it to be like that, I think it's a necessary evil.
It is gonna, because people like SPF, you know, it make it absolutely necessary. Like SPF was unregulated. It was somewhere in the some island outside of United. I forgot the name. Where were they based? Was it Bahamas?
I know he was in the Bahamas. I'm not sure where his business is based out of.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much unregulated. But yeah, people see examples like those and they're afraid. And also us, we're based in the UK. We're registered a company in the UK, and we're following everything that we've been told. So yeah, regulation is a big part for us. And then Chris, he's an experienced backend developer. He also works for a massive company, and he was the one who got me into CNFTs December last year. I was just buying ADA, like dollar cost averaging, and he told me about NFTs, and I came to the ecosystem and started taking notes. I found out about OpenCNFT. I found out about CNFT IO, which at the beginning you had to wait for the other person to accept your offer for 24 hours. And yeah, there was a lot going on back there, and I never thought I would start a project or anything like that in especially NFTs or CNFT space. But later on, I got introduced to the Ape Society, and when I got in there, I saw people collaborating, writing proposals with each other, and I saw the how a DAO would operate, and I compared it to my day job. I was like, they are collaborating with each other on a way more agile level and way quicker way, and they don't even know each other. They haven't even met each other, and they're doing all these proposals, coming with these great ideas, and they're doing it so quickly. And I was like, this is interesting. And then I started getting interested on NFTs, and then I talked with Rob and Chris to bring them on board so we can work on something together. Vincento was a person that we met online. He's the one who did the art for us. And later on, we found out he's a computer science person too, full stack developer, but we didn't know at the time. We were solely attracted to his work through his 3D models. So we saw it on an art website. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called DeviantArt, deviantart.com. I don't know, but artists go there, and
Deviant?
yeah, it's called Deviant. Yeah, or we don't even have to. Oh yeah, he's here. Yeah. So art, like Rob had already worked with some artists there, and we worked with a few. We didn't like the work, but Vincento was the one that we liked. So we connected to him and we started working with him. And later on, he told us he's full stack developer. We haven't gotten his help on development yet because three of us are developers and Chris's flatmate is also a developer. So we have so much access to developers that we haven't found the need to go for him for development. And we want him to be focused on one part of thing, not do 1,000 different tasks because we don't want to overwork him. And yeah, so that's the core of the team. But three of us are the co-founders. Vincento, we just hired him for stuff, and other team members, Dean K. We've worked with him for a bit. He's busy sometimes, so that's why we got Mac and Lou, because we wanted someone who's more hands-on. Dean K was more of a consultancy type of thing. It wasn't like it was, and because of honestly, the timing in Australia just messes things up too. Like it's hard to work with someone all the way in Australia. So we got Mac and Lou. They're directly involved. They are the ones who set this up, by the way, told us about you, and they are so much involved in CNFT space, and the change has been insane since we've hired them. Everything has changed. Like the floor price has gone up. The Discord is more active, and the collaborations are on point. The giveaways are on point. So Mac and Lou are absolute superstars. They've helped us a lot. Yeah.
So you guys, how long have you guys been together?
Three of us, the founders. With Rob, we met 5-6 years ago. With Chris, we were going to the same university, but we became colleagues 2-3 years ago when we on a cybersecurity job, because we were working in the same company. We were doing cybersecurity consultancy, so we were colleagues there. And then the NFT, the cryptocurrency topic came on. We were always talking about cryptocurrencies with each other, and then the NFT stuff came up. So yeah, we've known each other for a long time. But on this project, we've been working on this project for about 7-8 months, but we started posting on social media from the end of September. So we were working on things on the background, but we weren't posting anything, or yeah, we hadn't had a social media. We were just passionate about the project and the white paper and stuff. Yeah.
So you guys have been here, during the pump all the way to 3, and then during the drop all the way down.
Yeah.
I've been trying to just talk to people about the market situation. Does that make you guys a little hesitant to maybe try to mint a little later? Or are you like, this could last another year, so it doesn't really matter, let's just mint now? Or how's your train of thought kind of about the bear market that we're in?
Okay, so the thing is that growing is definitely harder in this type of market condition. But our ideology is that we build no matter what. Mint, no mint, less followers, more followers. We don't care, to be honest with you, we don't really need the money for development. The money is going to be spent on marketing, is going to be given to Mac and Lou, is going to be for giveaways and all of those things. And to be very frank, the money is not even enough for this team. In this market condition, it's not enough. Our day jobs, they pay us way more than what this market could offer to us. So the mint, we're hoping to be in Q1 or end of Q1, but it might not happen. It might not happen. It depends on how many followers we can get, like Mac and Lou can get us to. But mint or no mint, we're developing. We're working with OGs and making things happen. Yeah.
So is it something that you guys you expect to make money later on from, or is this just a passion and like you really just don't care about the money at all?
Yeah, we're planning to make money later on with the platform growing and becoming successful, and also getting the mainstream investors involved, or growing the platform would be the main source of income for us. Yeah. And
Gotcha.
also maybe future projects, future mints and future features that we're going to add to the platform. Are going to help us too. And so those are the for now there's no financial incentive because it's a bear market. Yeah.
So you guys have been here for like a long time, like you said, like I've mentioned earlier. Are there any NFTs that you love that you're just like, I've invested in? These are my ride or dies. Because I
Yeah.
know on this channel, I do love to focus on mints and I
Yes.
love to focus on flipping, but there are those long-term projects that I also love and I hold on to, and they've
Yes.
helped me through some of those bad flips, you know?
Yeah. The Ape Society is the one for me, and my teammates call me simp because I simp over them. But I just they are the reason I started the project. If they didn't exist, I would have never started the project. I just saw the value of their community, and I've been messaging Congo. That's one of the founders, back and forth. Hopefully, we can do something together. Lara as well. And this one is definitely the one for me. Yeah, it's the Kong. It's not the Kong. Sorry, the apes. Yeah, the apes is the one. Yeah.
Is there anything besides the apes?
Okay, recently, uh, again, my teammates make fun of me when I get excited over other projects. They're like, "You should be hyped over your own project, not the other projects." But the other one, I don't know if they're going to be mad at me if I say it, but the other one that I was very excited, like I followed them on Twitter since they were like gaining followers. I love their marketing and everything about them, but Matrix Scapers. Yeah.
Matrix Scapers.
Oh God. Now I'm getting free promo.
This one?
Yeah. They're gonna be
No,
so many.
it's good. I love to hear about other projects because I actually haven't heard about these people.
Oh no, my teammates are gonna hate me so much. But but here's the thing about them. Their whole idea is to escape the matrix, to like find out about good projects. I think they have alpha research. I haven't joined or minted, but I was following them all along on social media, just shadow following them. I just like the marketing and the concept. That's what I like about them. Yeah.
Okay. Any Clay Nation?
Chris is the one who's big on clay. He owns a big plot of land on clay. I didn't, even though Chris was like kept telling me to like get a clay, get a clay, get a clay. I still haven't gotten a clay, but I think I'm gonna get a clay. Yeah, but we did do a giveaway 2 weeks ago. We got a land, but we gave it away to one of the community members. But Clay Nation, the reason why I like the apes more than Clay Nation is the I don't know, maybe I just don't know much about Clay Nation, but I like the apes because of the collaborative within the community. I feel like they're on it with collaboration within
Well,
the community.
you're not going wrong. You picked one of the best projects, if not, arguably the best project on Cardano. So
Yeah,
definitely not wrong. I love Clay. Clay's been here since, the very beginning for the most part. So I'm just, obviously my avatar, and I bought
yes,
two more throughout the year. And yeah, I mean, Clay to me is just everything. And their partnership with Good Charlotte and Snoop Dogg, Champ
yeah,
Medici,
yeah,
like I just feel like they just don't miss, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
their floor is not there as far as like Ape Society, and I think it's
yeah,
because Ape Society does have that better collaboration. Well, I don't know about better collaboration, but they have that passive income, right? You can stake your ape, you earn, I think it's like 30 ADA at one point or 40 ADA a day. I don't know if it's still that high, but
yeah. I mean, it
there's a
depends
lot.
on how many NFTs you own. It wasn't like everyone's getting 38. The guys who are making crazy money, you could go and ask them, how much did you invest in the apes in the first place? And they were like, oh, I invested $200,000 on apes. And I was like, yeah, no wonder you're making this much per day because you had that in. But that wasn't everybody. Not everyone's investing 200K on Cardano NFTs. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that I own from Ape Society, and it's unfortunate, but at least I got a good district. I got really lucky on the Ape Cabin Mint, and I
Okay.
had to sit there. I sat there, I swear to God, for like 4 to 5 hours
Yeah.
clicking the fire hydrants, the seaplanes, and I finally got lucky. I got one. I got just a regular cabin in Shahid, and right now
Okay.
the floor is like 3K, and it was like 108 a mint. So that's all
Yeah.
I got, but I'm
Here's
holding it.
Yeah, I don't know which one's good or bad, but recently, because of our own platform, I went on and I saw one of the cabins I hold the floor is 6K. I was like, what cabin is this? That the floor is, and it was Dork East. Uh, where are we going to? Society. Yeah, it was Dork East.
I'm gonna see if they have because normally the reason why they're so expensive is
Yeah.
because there's either a question mark or something in their district. So the
Okay.
district that I'm in, I guess I gotta scroll, is the 31, and it's the only one that's released so far. That's the factory. So I
Okay.
thought that 31 would be the most expensive, but I guess you're saying it's another district?
I mean, let's go on. Go back to the JPEG store. My teammates are killing themselves now because I'm just talking about other projects. But yeah, let's go. Let's search for DOO. Dor
DOO?
Dork East. The district Dork East. Yeah, that one.
Okay. Oh,
So
wow.
it was on 6K. Now it's on 4.9. So this one again is the collaboration. Like we have our own Discord as Dork Street owners, and we get our own badge, which I haven't gotten yet. Next to your ape, and there is a Dork magazine that comes out every now and then. So it's that community effort that made this pump because everyone from Dork they came together and they're whales, so they're planning on doing things all the time with the Dork Street. Yeah.
So there's a UNMD Dork Street like collab.
Not sure, but we'll see. I don't even know about what's happening there. But if we find out, we have land in at the Clay Nation stuff, and we also have land over here. And the Clay Nation one is a good one too. The one that Chris owns. He said it's next to the lake or something, so we can do stuff there too. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I don't want to get too far off topic on these other ones. I know we covered
Yes.
a decent bit about what you guys were doing, but I saw that you had these case scenarios. So,
Yeah.
worst case scenario is that the OG and Mafia NFTs don't sell out, but the platform still gets built. You have the basic features that are already there, and the holders have an easy way to see their wallet stats and stuff and communicate with other holders. And then, best case scenario would be the OGs and the Mafia NFTs do sell out. The platform becomes very operational, and then you guys plan to maybe potentially expand into Solana, Ethereum, and other blockchains. So do
Yes.
you want to kind of explain your best case scenario and how you plan to do that? Or maybe it's not in plan, but you have some thoughts?
Yeah. No, no. We definitely have thoughts on there. I wish they had given you access to the full website, but I can explain it anyways. So first of all, Solana, I'm not even sure about anymore because it just goes on off and on. We might just go straight for Ethereum, maybe put our focus there first instead of Solana first. And so the same way we are growing, we want to grow on Cardano or CNFT space. We want to grow on the other blockchains. So at first, it's going to be the 300 OGs, and then it's going to be the 5,000 main collection who has access. And then let's say we whitelist the apes or the clays to get access. And then once we are in a good position and we see that we have whitelisted most of the uh, NFT space, CNFT space to access the platform. Like most of whitelist, I mean their policy ID is whitelist. So when we do that, they can connect their wallet, and if you hold the clay, you can have your own profile. So that's what I mean by whitelist. When we move to Ethereum, we're thinking about doing the same thing. First, we might drop a collection on Ethereum, and the collection, the backstory is going to be related to the mafia too. And then after that, we start whitelisting bigger collections on Ethereum to access. And then people can see the value of their portfolio cross chain. So not only you will see the value that you have on your CNFT space, but your portfolio shows overall value. Maybe, yeah, it will show it in dollar, let's say. So you can see everything that you own, not just one blockchain. Yeah.
Okay, so is the thought behind this to try to make it a little bit more feasible to carry the project and sustain it? Because I've noticed with, epoch.art and the other marketplaces that have tried to kind of compete with JPEG is that JPEG just still dominates. So if you were to have this other marketplace, even though it's the first social marketplace, I is it to kind of, make it to where you can still make enough money off of a smaller volume because JPEG is kind of the dominant factor?
Yeah, it's a bit of that, but also our one of our problem that we're trying to solve is that bringing people together. That's another thing, and people are on ETH, but they kind of have the same mentality as people in NFT space on Cardano. They're both after NFTs. So we don't see what's the reason why it should be so isolated and separated. It's like a cultish behavior going on. Like they're like, we're this, you're that. But we like to think that if we work together, we can bring the mainstream adoption to the blockchain. We have to work together for that. It's not, even with the JPEG store stuff, we sometimes don't want to think of other marketplaces as necessarily a competitor, but they're doing their part on bringing more users to Cardano ecosystem. So, and we will benefit of that because not all the features that we are building are going to be available on other marketplaces. That these things could coexist next to each other. And on that note, we have a server which all of CNFT, most of, not even if not all, but most of CNFT developers are on there, and we're trying to solve problems together because we face the same problems when it comes to coding challenges that Cardano has, the lack of documentation or not using other languages yet, like JavaScript, or bringing. We have the similar issues, and we understand each other's pains, and we help each other in the background with these things. Yeah.
Gotcha. Another thing too, because I love that you're trying to bridge other blockchains together, because I do think that that's inevitably going to happen. It's not going to be this like, oh, Ethereum's better, Cardano's better. It's going to mean
Yeah.
maybe that'll probably always happen in people's minds, no doubt. But it would be really cool if you could buy, Cardano NFTs with your Ethereum bags or your Ethereum bags with Cardano bags,
Yeah.
And I saw recently that JPEG Store implemented that, and even Mad Dog Car Club implemented buying their new mint, their Racers mint, with other cryptos. So is that something that you guys are thinking about?
Yeah, we're always thinking about closing the gap between blockchains, and it's funny. Interestingly enough, Mac sent me a message today and was like, "Should we collab with projects on Solana?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can collab with them. We can give them whitelists. We can, yeah, we can collab with them for sure." And to be very honest with you, the big money hasn't entered Cardano yet. They're all on Ethereum, focus on Ethereum, even on Solana more than us, like the hedge funds and all of that. They haven't put their money over here yet. The biggest player, which was a JPEG store, which is not was, which was, I'm living in the future, but which is a JPEG store. When they tried to apply for funding, the only place that they got funding from so far, it's been SeaWorld, and that's the Cardano's, I think, incubator or funding program, which Josh is the one who's in charge of that. So even JPEG Store has managed to get funding from SeaWorld, but I don't know if we've seen other big hedge funds or investor names entering Cardano yet, but we can see them on Ethereum. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, I don't want to say unfortunate, because it kind of gives us a time to buy Cardano and accumulate while things are still cheaper. And Charles actually had a tweet that I replied to this morning. He said,
Okay.
not a single mention of Cardano, pretty low and pretty sad, and I honestly expected better. and it was just like in the 2023 market outlook.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
I didn't see that tweet. Yeah.
yeah, and it is pretty sad, but I made a joke and I was like, they're just giving us time. Like an influencer won't mention their favorite coin because they're over there buying it. As soon as they're done buying it, then they'll mention it. You
Yeah.
know? And like it's a joke, but it's also true. So I do wonder if this is in a weird way kind of bullish. How do you kind of view that?
Uh, I think I told you I talked with the executives in our company. It's just that in a weird type of way, they do what their friends group do. Even in the bigger scale, it's like that. Like as soon as one or two of them moves over or looks at Cardano stuff, then they'll all get into it. But it's just the fact that they don't know. They just don't know. They think it's still a ghost chain. And bear market isn't helping that. Like people in the office, like when I tell them I'm doing an NFT project, they're like, oh, those still exist? NFTs still, there's still a market. People are still buying NFTs. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like there's things going on. So the entire Web3 is new. It's not just Cardano. It's the whole Web3 is the underdog. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like when, when crypto first started, Bitcoin was going crazy and everybody was calling it a scam or whatever as it went higher and higher. And then as it crashed back down, everyone was like, see, I told you so. But then like 2, 3 years later, it goes to all-time highs again. And I feel
Yeah.
like it's going to be the same thing with NFTs.
Yeah. And also, I mean, NFTs are safer in terms of regulations because you're buying it and you can use it as membership and all of that. It's not a currency, but and it doesn't count as a security. But when it comes to the blockchains and cryptocurrencies, those they haven't decided if they're a security or if they're a commodity. Bitcoin, everyone's certain, like everyone knows. I've established in the industry. Oh, this is a commodity. I don't have to rely on anybody. There's no supreme leader there. It's just the uh, decentralized network. And yeah, it's a commodity. It's registered under that. But everything else, it's just the regulations haven't decided that if it's a commodity or it's a security, and it massively shifts everything if they decide if it's a security. Like it becomes like Apple or other stock market assets. They have to be compliant as a security, and they have to hire every one of us. If we start a cryptocurrency coin, we have to spend like crazy amounts of money to become compliant, just like a public company. So that's another side of things. They're fearful of that too because of regulation. They don't know the regulators haven't decided what they want to do. So they're like, oh, it's a risk. As a big company, they're like, oh, it's a risk for me to get into Cardano right now. I'm just going to be buying Bitcoin or publicly saying I'm buying Bitcoin. I can't be publicly saying I'm buying something that is not fully regulated, you know?
Doesn't it depend on what the NFT is offering though? Like some people, if you offer, royalties in the form of Cardano back, then it's classified as a security or whatever it is. But if
Yes.
you hand it back in the form of an NFT or a raffle under like a different token or something, then it's not.
Yeah. So there's all these technicalities, and they don't- it's already complex. They don't want to get into the complication of all of these things, and it's ignorance. So they just don't know about it. But hopefully, when we make more noise, we can get those parties involved. And I think the bear market is the best time. And in the background, we are thinking about things. We are trying to have those conversations based on our connections around us. It's just that it's not something that we want to talk about publicly yet. Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you guys trade stocks or follow the markets at all like that? Or are you kind of, just build in the NFT and that macro situation, eventually it'll turn around and you'll be fine? Or do you kind of follow it a little bit more micro?
So it's interesting because I saw you do the market analysis videos, right? And you go through the S&P 500 stuff, and then you come back to cryptocurrencies and NFTs. For us, we are not traders or anything, so we don't really pay attention much. We know it's in the bear market, and we just think bear market is not going to last forever, or recession is not going to last forever. There will be a time that things will go back to normal. We don't know the timing of it. We don't try to predict things because there's a high chance of things going wrong. So our focus is that just build, make connections, and it's easier to make connections when people are in this situation. Like, it's not as noisy anymore. So our strategy is to build and also make connections. And yeah, we don't follow or look at the charts a lot. I mean, we had our days of following charts and stuff, but we thought that it's best for our skills to be used in building things.
Gotcha. Because I've been looking at, Cardano, and I've been looking at the S&P 500, and it does look like the overall market is going to be coming down again. And
Yes.
the Fed did just raise by 0.5% again,
Uh-huh.
and his tone was very hawkish. He was very bearish. He was saying we're not even thinking about lowering rates until 2024, which a lot of people were predicting. Well, the data is showing us that that should happen sometime in 2023. So the
Yeah.
fact that he's telling you screw the data, we're not doing that. It really kind of made investors panic. I don't think the 0.5% increase really made people panic. I thought that was priced in my opinion.
Yeah.
But then I see like Cardano coming down to 25 cents and breaking into new lows. And I'm starting to think about the NFT market. And I'm like, okay, well, people were like not really cool when it first happened. And people were like, hey, we need to ask for 100 ADA to 200 ADA per mint. People were like, oh, that's way too much. And then there
Yeah.
was the argument of like, well, look at how much ADA's worth. And now it's going even lower. So prices are going to need to go up even more. And I'm just trying to figure out, for me, like I don't really get paid in USD too often. I get paid a lot in Cardano. So to me, Cardano's still Cardano. And when people go up on the price, it's hard for me personally to justify higher and higher prices, even though I know that it's true. They do need to be higher because
Yeah.
businesses, which is what NFTs are, need to be paying their employers and their employees in dollars. So how do you feel about that?
Here's the thing. I I personally understand if people are raising the prices of mints. I totally understand that because as a business, you need the money right now. Like, you need a new software, right? You need the Adobe software. You need the business have expenses. Even if you're non-profit, if you're not making any profit, there are expenses that needs to be paid, and those expenses are made in a normal currency, like a stable currency. They're not made in ADA. So I totally understand if the mint prices are going to increase. And also, uh, many people who have survived so far, they do have day jobs. They do have normal jobs which they rely on. And yeah, I personally totally understand if the mint prices are going up. They just need the money to be able to have a sustainable project. Like
Yeah.
the same, like right now we can see it like is 0.25. So if a project is doing the mint, let's say at 10 ADA, and it's doing 5K collection, how much would that raise for them?
I'll pull out a calculator. Let's go. Uh, so you say 10 ADA
Yes.
multiplied by 5,000 and
Yeah.
then multiplied by 0.25. That's $12,000.
Yeah,
Which is
12,000
enough.
pounds. And
That hires maybe one person for a few months.
exactly. And yeah, that would be their marketing cost, basically the moderator. That they have enough money for moderator for a year or something. So you can't force someone to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's not sustainable.
But
Uh,
from what you were saying though is, and it kind of makes me I don't really know how I think about it, because you said that you guys' jobs are paying you, well enough to be able to build this project, and you're not really trying to make money up front. Your money
Yeah,
is going to be coming from the long-term goals, which is an awesome way to look at it as well. I think most businesses do operate at a loss,
yeah.
before they profit, and so that's a great way to look at business. Um, so for the mint price, though, will you try to keep it low regardless of the price of ADA so that it can be distributed to more people? Or do you think you'll have to raise it anyways? I mean, if you raise it a little bit, I think that's completely fine. But will you
Mm.
try to go with like a number to justify a US dollar price? Or are you going against that to try to, just get more people on board?
Uh, Here's the thing. Either way, you can get more people on board in long term. You don't have to get more people on board on mint necessarily, because some people want to flip, so they put it on secondary, and the new people who buy, uh, that's you basically growing the user base, right? And let's say someone mints like 5 or 10, and they list like two of them, somebody else has to buy those two. So a new user is introduced just like that. And in terms of mint price, we're not. It's it's unreasonable for us to try to raise 500,000 or 1 million on mint. Like, let's be honest with that. It's unreasonable to do that. But also, we don't want to do it too low, because on the long term, we do need the money, and we do need to pay for marketing. So it's going to be somewhere in between. It's not going to be crazy amount like 500,000. We're not going to be raising like 500,000 and stuff. I'm not talking about ADA. I'm talking about dollars. And but yeah, it just has to be reasonable. It has to be reasonable for us to do it. Otherwise, um, otherwise it's going to be difficult to get money for other, like, even the hosting. Right now we're putting money on our own pocket. And yeah, so for us to improve our services, we need to do that. Also, when you want to onboard like an investor, like a traditional investor or other businesses, uh, to CNFD, you can't just say, "Oh, there's no money in here right now, but trust me, in 5, 10 years there'll be money." Like, you have to justify that by showing them some sort of numbers, and they might not be happy seeing ADA numbers. They're like, "Oh, if you translate to dollars, how much would that be?" So it's just a balance. I think it's just a balance. We did. I'm not going to mention names, but we did see a project come out with 500 ADA for mint price.
Oh, I know. We all know.
Yeah, so that's a bit high, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, we all know. They're sitting
yeah,
at like a 600 floor right now, though, aren't they? Let me see. But, this is what I was gonna get to as well, is, they did pretty well. They sold out their above floor. That's
yeah,
awesome. They're introducing shorting into NFTs, which I think is really cool, because it's gonna bring in drastic movements in NFTs more so than what we have right now.
yeah,
When people short NFTs, what that is essentially is selling an NFT and then buying it back later. So
yeah,
it's going to put a lot of sell pressure on projects, that it normally wouldn't be there, which
yeah.
is cool though, because before that you wouldn't be able to make money off of NFTs going down. You could only buy them and wait for them to go back up. But on the
Yes,
same hand, it'll work just like shorting, or just like short squeezes.
yeah,
So when you get squeezed out of your money enough, you're gonna be like, crap, I don't want to keep getting squeezed out. Let me just take this loss. But essentially you're buying back. So that's
or
more
even yeah,
buying.
or even short attacks. But with them, since we have them up, I think that their initial supply was 3,000 for 500K, 500 data.
Oh,
But
okay.
then they brought it down to 1,000. But yeah, even if you calculate that, it's still not enough for. It's still not even a year of income, like a year of expenses for them. And it's interesting they don't have royalty fees.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Where are the royalties? Are there no royalties?
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah.
Does it say in the NFT? But yeah, here's what they just mentioned in JPEG Store about being able to
Yeah.
buy with Solana and ETH and even a credit card. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, they're partnering up with two different companies for that, and it's I hope they have done their due diligence on those companies, because in crypto there's been a lot of things happening. A lot of companies have gone bankrupt in the past like a year or so. So you have to be very careful with who you choose your partners as. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any ideas on who you'll be using? I don't know if you're, because I know you said you were thinking about it, but I don't know. Maybe you haven't gotten into it on who you'd be using to do multiple transactions with, like credit cards or Solana or Ethereum.
Credit cards, I don't know about that one. We I don't know. We try to stay away from them, but in terms of other currencies, we weren't thinking like, oh, you can buy ADA NFTs, like Cardano NFTs with Solana. We're thinking you can buy Solana NFTs with Solana. We haven't gone into this detail about it yet, but once we do, we're gonna be researching things very deeply. Yeah.
Gotcha. Because I think that's going to be what most people do. They're going to have either their Ethereum bag. Maybe some Ethereum people will have Cardano. Maybe some Ethereum people will have Solana. But ultimately, if most of my money is in one or the other, that's going to be the money that I want to use to spend, because
Yeah.
that's where I have the most of it in.
Mhm.
And if it's not in Cardano, but I want to buy a Cardano NFT, then it would be really cool if people could use Ethereum to buy Cardano NFTs.
Yeah, it's just the safety. We think about safety and compliance a lot. And yeah, so if the safety and compliance makes sense, then yeah, we're more than happy to do it. Even in terms of royalties, yeah, because recently, uh, when I think it was one of the guys from JPEG Store that was on a call on a round table, he was talking about how compliance, how they were thinking about compliance, and they were thinking about it recently, like giving out royalties, because you have to do a KYC to do that, like in terms of regulations when you're paying people. So we just need these things into place. That's how we want to attract the bigger and the mainstream involved. Yeah.
Gotcha. And there was another point that you said too. Did you say that these were supposed to be 3,000, but they lowered it to 1,000?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so
on the day of the mint, they did it. They did a few days or a week before. Yeah.
right, so that kind of feeds into what I was thinking about earlier as well. Is that even if you do, oh, no royalties, 100% sure. All right,
Mm.
appreciate you, Ali. But excuse me.
Mm.
So yeah, with having like a higher mint,
Yeah.
I know you were saying it doesn't matter too much if you raise it like to a certain degree, because then, secondary can kind of figure it out. But you do need the collection to sell out before secondary can figure it out and have that price. So
Exactly. But I'll tell you something about Pond. I don't know if you've been on their Discord. You could see that they had a lot of whales and big names in there. So I think it was justifiable. It made sense in their head to do it. They had done the evaluation beforehand. They had attracted the right audience for this type of pricing. Because if you go to, like, there were a lot of apes in there. If we go on apes trading, we can see people like every hour they're trading 10K NFTs, buying and selling all the time. And with this, we'll see how it turns out. It's too early. It's too early to say anything, but we'll see how it goes. And this is another thing we do. We watch everyone very closely. So yeah, I mean, I like to talk about other projects to the team, but sometimes that's beneficial. So sometimes it's good to know what everyone else is doing. Yeah.
no, I love talking about all the projects because, like you said, you can really learn a lot from the other people's failures or even what they're doing. But something that's always bothered me a little bit is I was talking with somebody the other day and I was like, "Why do you like this project?" And they were like, "Oh, because it reminds me of Ape Society." And I was like, "No, No, like why do you want to buy this copycat project? Like that's what I'm talking about. They're like, oh, because it reminds me of Ape Society. Like, why don't you want to buy something new? Like if some XYZ company was like, hey, we're gonna come out and we're making a phone, and somebody's like, oh, I like phones. It's like,
Yeah.
so what? You think you're gonna be Apple and Samsung and
No,
Google?
I,
Like,
I tell you one thing that might be more frustrating. Rob, he's the more experienced one, and also I brought him on from the. So he's a software developer. One he cares about tech. He cares about tech a lot, blockchain, decentralization. That's what he's focused on. So necessarily, he's not sitting down researching projects. You know what I mean? Like he's focused on something else. About the projects, he just likes the art. Okay. So this is what he does. He goes to the homepage of JPEG store, and just solely for the art and the category, he just purchases stuff without even looking at the website or anything. He's like, oh yeah, I just like how it looks, just like the art.
I mean, if you got it like that, I mean, cool. But I mean, let's go do it right now, right? You
Not
might have
even
made
there.
out.
Not even there. No, 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 no. He
No,
doesn't
not even
even.
here.
No, just go down. 3D collection. Stop. Like
Oh, but sometimes it shows you random ones. Like sometimes it'll show you like
exactly.
abstract or
Like let's
or
click
like
on see all. Uh, let's click on see all. He's not even looking at the collections. Let's go on see all on the right side. It says see all, the button. But this is still showing the collection. Is there was a time that it was literally showing the recently listed or something. I don't know if they moved it to the top on
recently
the
added.
recently added. Let's go there. No, those are collections though. Those are not actual NFTs. And let's go on explore. Yeah, on the top though. Explore button on the right next to creators.
Oh, okay.
Collections, all NFTs. Yeah, literally. Yeah, literally from here. Yeah. You will just see
Oh
something that
man,
you
dude, he's playing roulette. That's crazy.
Yes. No, he's not even looking at it as investment. Okay, I'll tell you two reasons why he buys. One, he wants to test the platform with it. So the random collection, it's fine. It works even better because if it works with a random collection, it works with everything. Two, he just likes how it looks. He's not looking to flip it or anything. He just likes how it looks. That's all.
No, that's fair. There was actually an AI project, and we had this long discussion last week on Block is Hot's Twitter space about AI. And in
Okay.
all honesty, I'm not for AI because I don't like that it's taking artist jobs. That's my
Okay.
main thing behind it. Also, it seems like yes, there's some AI artists who are like, yeah, I made the AI art and then I went back and I tweaked it and then I ran the program again and I tweaked it, and I think that's a lot of dedication. I think that's fine. But some people
Yeah.
can just sit back, press the button, and be like, "Yeah, I'm minting this," and then 5 months later, be like, "Yeah, I've been working on the program here. Boom, hit the button, I'm minting this."
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, like I don't like it.
It,
But
it's the same thing. I don't know. There was a guy who experimented with a tweet that got a lot of attention, got a lot of retweets, and all of that. And the tweet was actually made by AI. It wasn't a human who wrote the tweet. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that happening. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, this is how some people purchase stuff. They don't care about the research part. They just care about how it looks. And
if
to
I
be
had
honest,
all the money in the world, maybe I'd do the same thing. But if I'm struggling a little bit, that's definitely not the approach I would be taking. But like you said, he's doing it. He knows himself. That's cool. That's really funny, but that's cool.
but the other thing is that, but that's how art wasn't art just like that. Like when you go to a gallery, do you even care? There's no utility for
That's
that. You
true.
just put it on the wall. There's no utility in this. It's just gonna be sitting on the wall or sitting on the floor. By the way, it's on the floor because they don't allow us to put it on the wall here. The landlord is pretty strict on the walls. Yeah.
That's really funny, actually. I have I'll do a quick little shout out to NF Touchable real quick. So NF Touchable, if you guys don't know, I don't get sponsored by them or anything, but he sent me a long time ago my own clay as a NFT Touchable. So it's actually in my closet right now because I'm in the midst of moving, and it's been sitting in my closet for a few months because I have to get ready to
Yeah.
move. And I just see it in there, and I just like shed a tear every time I see it. I'm just like, man, you deserve to be up on a wall. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can go in there, you can put in your own NFT. So let's see, click NFT, and then you can like click here and then pick an image or whatever, and then you can choose like the size and the thickness, and it'll change the price for you up here. And yeah, you'll get it shipped to you, and it looks like one of these things that you can put up
It'd
on your
be
wall.
it'd be nice if it was directly connected to your like instead of an NFT image, you could just connect your wallet and. But what if you want to? Oh, okay. So what if like let's say with the Board Ape Yacht Club, right? You own the rights, the IP, when you buy the NFT. So would that be stealing if I'm printing someone else's NFT and I'm putting it on a wall without like paying them any money, basically?
I don't think so, as long as you don't sell it.
Okay.
That's where I think you get into some trouble. But then again, they would have to know that you sold it, and like
Yeah.
it's kind of like early taxes, right? Like you're supposed to be paying your taxes on all this stuff, but it's gonna be really hard to catch you, right?
Yeah.
Like pay your taxes, people. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be hard for people to know that they took like this NFT and it's
Yeah.
not your NFT. But they could, in theory, I think they could get you into
Yeah.
some trouble, I
No,
believe.
it would be funny. Like some random person, you walk into their house and you see your NFT on their wall. You're like, where did you get this?
Well, see, even this is what I think about that's even more convoluted and a little questionable. Let's say I owned this NFT, I bought it, and then I sold my NFT, right? So like now
Well,
whose is it, right? Like do I
yeah,
have to sell everything
you
about
have
this NFT once I sell my NFT?
you have to burn it down. Yeah, you have
Right,
to.
like, and I've been
It's
thinking about that from my clay. Like, what if my clay goes to $500,000 and that could pay off my student loans in a little bit?
yeah,
And I'm like, this is the best financial decision for me.
yeah,
Like, should I sell this clay? It's who I am. It's my identity. Like,
yeah,
do I have to get rid of my channel? Do I have to rebrand? Do I have to change all the marketing? Like, I don't know.
yeah. And the thing is that these are the type of questions I get asked when I bring it up of like an executive type of thing. And sometimes, to be honest with you, I'm just speechless. I don't know what to say. So, and because of all these uncertainties, that's why some of the big players aren't here yet.
That's a good point. I mean, there is a lot of uncertainties. I know CoffeeZilla has been making a lot of videos lately about Sam Bankman-Fried and trying to get him to admit that he did fraud. And I think he did get pretty close, or he did get him to admit fraud in some format of language. But he brings
Yeah,
up some points about the legality, and he's talking about most NFT projects actually have to have like a contract or something that you see before you purchase them, and then that's what's legally obligating you to perform those duties. But it doesn't hold up in court if you were to resell it. So example, I have to allow you to have a meeting with me, right, if you buy my NFT. But
yeah,
if you were to resell my NFT after you mint it, does that contract hold up to the resale? And in court, he thinks that it actually wouldn't. So that's where a lot of things kind of get convoluted as well.
yeah. I mean, there was this troll, internet troll, who what he did was he minted all the board apes, but flipped the other way around. And I don't know what happened to that court case, if he had to pay or not the Board Ape Yachts Club. But yeah, there's a lot, and we will only learn these things as we go on, and as people make mistakes, we learn from other people's mistakes, from our own mistakes, and education is the main thing. But regulations are always slow with everything. Like one example that Rob likes to use, like when he talks to me about regulation on NFTs, he talks about the music industry. He's like, it was peer to peer with Napster, peer to peer music, and the labels hated it. Everyone hated it. They were like, oh, these guys are criminals. Anyone who's doing free music is a criminal. Like, they should be in jail. And basically, very, very harsh comments to people who were even listening to music for free. Like, it was like that. And then what happened was Spotify said, we're going to be the first regulated streaming platform for music, free music. and no one was taking them seriously, basically, because they were like few, like Sony, the executive of Sony was like, free music, it's going to be illegal forever. It's never going to be something that's going to be legal. We'll never come in terms of that. But slowly, when they started like getting in touch with record labels, Spotify became mainstream, and then free music became a norm. Like people listening on Spotify became just a norm. It's the same thing with this. It takes that company or movement to make this happen. That is regulate friendly with regulations, but it takes a lot of money to get there. It's not easy. It's not an easy path at all. Like if you look at this story, like history of Spotify, the person who was behind it, he was a multi millionaire, and he managed to pay for all the legal fees and also the technology fees for like a year or two or three without getting any funding. So there's a lot of challenges, but it's probably inevitable. Yeah, it will happen
I think with
because
the Spotify thing,
it's
it's because like there's a lot of rich people that are like, oh, music works this way, right?
yeah,
There's no way any of the big people up there would ever want to like give their money towards Spotify when they don't have to, and they have their lawyers and all that. But the thing is, they don't have to come over. You don't need Jay-Z and all the large artists to come over. If you see a bunch of small artists and the new artists, if they come over and they become the new wave, then the old artists are actually the ones that are behind and have to play catch up. So they're going to be the ones that have to join. And I think this is kind of the same thing. We have a lot of people building for the first time, things that don't need to be built, right? Like we have Cornucopias building their own games and stuff. We
yeah,
don't need Cornucopias, and essentially we don't need Cornucopias to be building their own game and their own assets and all this stuff. But because nobody else is doing it, we do. But eventually Cornucopias is going to come out and they're going to be banging, or maybe not, we don't know, but I'm assuming so. And you're going to see other big companies that are like, oh, they're taking the money away from us. We want to have our money back. And so
yeah,
what are they going to do? They're going to throw money into this, and they're going to try to outdo Cornucopias. And then that's when capitalism is going to start all over again in crypto. Money's
yeah,
going to be thrown and thrown and thrown to try to be better than this project, to try to be better than this project. And it's just going to flow just like it does in the stocks.
yeah, yeah, 100%. It's just that until we don't take these little steps, we cannot get there. I mean, it's fascinating that you're still here, you're making content, you're making videos, you're trying to educate people, and projects are still here building. But people, the mainstream doesn't see this side. They don't have visibility over this, but it's good that we're here and we haven't disappeared, because if we had disappeared, it would have been way worse. Like it would have been few thousand steps more behind than what it is right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're the little marching ants, you know what I mean? We're going to be building and building. And once these people see that we have some pretty cool stuff, they're going to come and they're going to try to be a part of it. And,
Yeah.
we're just doing our part to try to make something cool that these larger corporations will eventually look into. And I think it's inevitable, whether it's me or Block or, Cornucopias or you guys and marketplaces and JPEG, it's all of us. Like all of us have combined a bunch of really cool stuff. And I think
Yeah.
that those big companies, they're just not going to want to lose. They never do. Everybody always wants to stay on top. But the only way to stay on top is to constantly be going into the new eras.
Yeah. I mean, as an example of this, so Trump did his NFTs a few weeks ago, but that's I I have a source where I get my boomer news from, and that's the source that I got the Trump NFTs from. But the boomer source gave me another news that Porsche, the car company, it's dropping NFTs. And yeah, so that's an example of a big company getting involved, but they're doing it on Ethereum. So this is where the question comes into mind, like, why would Porsche not do it on Cardano? Why would they choose Ethereum? And it simply is as simple as the word of mouth. Like the circle they're in tells them this is it. Like it's Ethereum is the one, because everyone else is on there in their circle. So yeah, it would be cool to see big names like that on Cardano. I think there was a basketball player who dropped an NFT
There's a few.
on Cardano.
Oh,
Like,
I don't know about Cardano. I know what you're talking about now that you say it, but I don't remember the name.
yeah, I don't remember the name, but I think Josh from SeaWorld, he was the one pushing it a lot. But people went and analyzed the whole thing, like people from the community itself, and they said where it went wrong. Apparently, it wasn't being minted a lot. There was something wrong with the market, but they did a full analysis on Twitter, one of the user accounts. And yeah, and in order to like get into the space, you need to know the locals. So that's why I'm talking to you, even though I wasn't really. Oh yeah, the name is here now. So that's why I'm talking to you. I talked to Dean. Hopefully, I get to talk to Block is Hot, Jason from Block is Hot, Mac and Lou. Mac and Lou like are minting every other week. So they keep me up to date with the local things that are happening in the space. If you want to get into space, like, and you're a big name, you'll have to talk to the locals. You can't just come here and because your name is big, expect to get the community's attention. You know?
Right. Yeah, I think what were we talking about? I think it was the whole thing with oh, what's the name? It was a Twitter space with Maria and Peppers, Shark Tank, right? You
Okay.
remember Shark Tank?
Dean told me about it a couple of times, but I didn't go on it. But yeah, so yeah.
So they had some issues where some people were like, giving them a bunch of crappy and like, you're not, this name or that name, the people who actually run Shark Tank, like, why are you trying to be like this? And I
Oh,
guess they
really?
just got like a lot of crap from them, so much to where they were almost going to shut down. They were like, hey, we're receiving like all these negative things. We're in the bear market. Like, it's just not worth it anymore. And I think also because they're launching their own projects, maybe they just didn't want to be associated with it potentially, with
Yeah.
all the negativity. And they were like, we're going to stop. Tomorrow's going to be our last one. And I was like, whoa. Like, your last one, like, you've been here for a year. Like, even if people don't, and by the way the story ended out is they're just coming back in December or February or
Okay.
January
Just
or
take
February.
a break.
So they're
Yeah.
not gone, thank God.
They're
But
taking. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my point is exactly what you were saying. Like, you need to talk to these people, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no CNN, there's no Fox News for Cardano NFTs. There's
Yeah.
how else are you going to get your name out there if it's not for these guys? So even if you don't like these guys, or you don't like me, or you don't like some other YouTubers, like, we're a necessary, part of the ecosystem.
Before we got Mac and Lou, I was going on calls trying to get promoters involved, and I went with some of the big names in the NFT ecosystem. None of them were on Cardano, but they were big on Solana and Ethereum. I was trying to just figure out the marketing for our our collection because I want to focus on the product. I don't want to care about marketing that much. So we went around and they were like, yeah, we can put you on Forbes. We can, if you pay this much, you'll be on Forbes. You pay this much, you'll be on this news cycle, that news cycle. And my head was like, Cardano CNFT people don't care if I'm on Forbes. Like it's not the same audience. Like they wouldn't like Mac and Lou are more excited when I come and talk to you than I have a Forbes article. You know what I mean? Because you're the one over here talking about other collections in the space. Forbes has never mentioned any CNFT CNFT name. In fact, I would argue that it would have more of a negative impact. It would look like I'm trying to scam people,
It
you
might.
know. So yeah, if anyone wants to get involved, they have to talk to the locals. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting thing because when I first got into this space, I kind of thought like a lot of the same people too, like, oh, like this guy's like shitting on this project, like, why would he do that, and it's just like, man, I don't care, I'm gonna mint anyways, right? And then I think about it now, and I'm like, well, he was like the only one talking about this project at all. Why would I mint if he's saying something bad about it? Which I think that is where people get that anger from, is like, well, if there's only one person speaking on a project and he says something good or bad about it, then that's the entire perspective of that project,
Okay.
but But from my perspective, I just think that we need more people, you know? We need
Hmm.
more people speaking on these projects so that there isn't just one point of view. So
Or
the
different
answer in this,
perspectives.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that this, my solution isn't to, isn't to like shut down these people. My solution would be to onboard more people.
Yeah, so there's not a monopoly on the media of
Exactly.
CNFT. Yeah, and that would be dangerous. That would be really dangerous because if you don't become friends with that one person, then you will not succeed because that person hasn't talked about you. Yeah, that is, yeah, that would be dangerous if that happens. If one person controls all the media on the space, yeah.
I mean, we only have what, it's like 4 or 5 people on YouTube, and then we have like a bunch of people on Twitter, which is awesome. But YouTube is I mean, that was my favorite spot to find information. And then once I started doing this more and more, I realized that Twitter Spaces are actually like the meta for NFT information, like that's the place to go. But I still think that there's a large amount of people that like to watch videos and are on YouTube.
Yeah, and on top of that, you just told me about one of the NFT Twitter Spaces, which was about, I forgot when you mentioned it. It was about, you said you did it with Block is Hot and the other people on there. But anyways, if there are opportunities like that, I would because I'm not on Twitter every day. But if you let me know, I would be more than happy to join. Maybe I can even get Rob to come because his perspective is so different than anyone else. He's so tech focused, and also I don't know if I can get him on, but I'll try my best. And also he's more experienced, and yeah, it's so interesting, like showing him and stuff. I'm making him sound like 9 years old, but, but he's not that much older than me. Like, but yeah, but he has a lot of experience in the traditional industry. So and regulations and all of that. So yeah, it would be interesting. So let me know if there are interesting spaces. I would be more than happy to come and join, not just as a listener, but maybe listener or even yeah, even I'll request, raise my hand up, ask questions, try to get into the conversation. Yeah,
100%. I mean, I'll send you a message anyway, so don't worry about remembering it. But off
yeah.
the top of my head, there's Wallet Wednesdays, there's NFA,
Mhm.
there's Shark Tank, which is done until January sometime. Um, and then a lot of the people, like there's specific people that sometimes just host random spaces too, like F.Art. I think she's a part of oh, what's that project? It's an art-based project. It's really cool. I can't remember it. I'm sorry, people. I,
Yeah.
I know she's probably like, what the hell? But it starts with a P. Why can't I think of it? It's a crazy cool name. But anyways, yeah, I'll send you a list.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything else that you wanted to go over with UNMD? Is there anything that we missed or anything that you'd like to
And
talk about?
let me just have a look at. We have. I think we did. We did good. We covered like everything what has been done so far. Let me just go through all the slides that I have to see if there's anything like big, major that has been missed out. But no, I don't. I don't think no. I think we've covered a lot. We covered everything. I I've been onto a few AMAs, like maybe 4 or 5, and I always rank them in the background to see like which one's good or bad, like which one's the best one. Uh, the one we did with NFT Hub on the Twitter space, that one was like the best. But I would put this one next to, like, we can have two best. I think these two are the best
I
that we
appreciate
had.
it.
But that was on the Twitter space, and this is on YouTube. So this is the best one on YouTube. That one is the best Twitter space I had. Yeah.
All right, well, you gotta let me know after Block's one because Block's a badass. So I gotta up
Yeah.
my game if I want to keep up with him.
Yeah, and the thing is that Block has an interesting following. Like they
Yeah.
really they worship him. They really like him.
No,
They
Block's
really,
a really cool dude because, you know, I don't know. I have like a bias towards people who have like a crap ton of followers usually, and my bias is usually that you know, they're a little shady or they're doing some things that they shouldn't be doing. But Block is not that way at all. You know,
Okay.
I've gotten to speak with him, and he is very down to earth. You know, we've talked about like mental health together and stuff, and like working out, and you know, even some like journeys with mushrooms and stuff, which I don't know how
Yeah.
you view. You seem very young, but from my perspective, you know, I've definitely had some benefits from some psilocybin, you know, but
Yeah. No, my
super
thing
down to
is,
earth.
yeah, my thing with psychedelics or drugs is that people should have the freedom to choose what they want to try or what they want to do, as long as they don't harm other people. You know, like that's the main thing. So, and yeah, that's my main view on those. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think to each their own. I'll leave it at that because I
Yeah.
know there's been some stories about, oh, well, psychedelics bring out the crazy and people who have it like hidden in them. And like, I don't know. To me, it brought out some like happiness, you know,
Yeah.
but to other people, maybe it doesn't. So that's why I say to each their own. And I kind of leave
Yeah.
it at that
Yeah.
because
I had this
I'm no
conversation
doctor.
with Rob about it too. It depends on chemical balance in your head. Like, yeah, it just all depends on the chemical balance in your head. That's why it has different effects on different people. So, yeah, it's definitely like that. It's different on different people. It could be a total different experience for someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
can't say I did it and it felt good, so you should try it too.
exactly, dude. I go into some Twitter spaces and we get freaking wild in there sometimes. And I hear some people talk about like, I think everybody should do LSD at least once. And I'm like, whoa, that's a bold claim,
No,
man.
wait, we have financial advice, but then we have psychedelic. It's like next level type of advice. Like that is
Oh,
crazy because it's to do with people's lives and chemical balance. So it's even further. Like when you say this is not financial NFA, not financial advice, you should therefore throw that this is not medical advice. Like I'm
yeah.
not a doctor. Yeah,
100%, man. Well,
yeah,
dude, I appreciate you for coming on, dude. It's been an absolute blast.
yeah.
If anybody in the chat wants to check out more of UNMD, I have all of their socials in the description below. And
Thank you so much. Yeah,
yeah, man,
yeah.
any closing statements?
No, thank you guys so much. We always have few things to say. Like two sentences that I like is that we learn together, grow together as a community, and also the other one is that we're not creating the platform for you. We're creating it with you. So your feedback is so valuable to us because you are the one using it. You know the space better than us, and also hopefully we'll catch up in the future too. Let me know about the spaces and other things that I can get on to get to know more locals because as we expand our knowledge in the space, it helps us to create a better platform. We're programmers, we're not CNFT traders, you know? Yeah.
Awesome, man. I will definitely send you over that list. But as always, guys, remember to get outside, see your family, see your friends. We're here to make more money so that we can
Hello?